Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to each and every one of you. I know there's some of you that hate when I say happy Monday because you go, dude, this is not a happy Monday, but it is a happy Monday. It's always a happy Monday. You have another opportunity to live, to get out there and make a difference in this world. Why would that not make you incredibly happy? And I hope that my video today will do exactly that. Will give you another bit of information, maybe a different viewpoint. It is an interesting video, actually, if I do say so myself. Of course, I have a vested interest in saying that, so, I might be lying, although I don't think I am. But the video specifically deals with a new book. I'm waiting to get this book, to get my hands on it, to read it. There's so many books that I have to read at this one, but I really want to get this one because it's called The Deal, and it focuses specifically on those early days in the talks between the GNU. And yes, there was a time where they actually thought that the GNU deal would not happen. And it actually came down to literally the week before, not even the week before, the day before. So I think it was like the Thursday that Ramaphosa told the business leaders of South Africa, look, go speak to the DA. I am going live on Sunday to announce my executive. If the DA wants to be part of this GNU, let's go. If they don't, then it's done. Because this is just how it was. It was a very, very sort of tense, discussion and tense deal making. But then they also focus on what happened directly after that. And I will show you throughout the course of this video that everything that I've been saying about the GNU is just more true the more we learn about it. So when you actually dive into it, you start to realize that Cyril Ramaphosa and John Steenhuisen does not get along. In fact, when the ANC said, sort of late last week, when they doubled down on the idea that they're going to be speaking to other parties, and we just found out from Kim Heller and a bunch of other journalists that there's actually factions within the ANC that's desperately trying to force them to speak to people like the EFF and members of the MK. The reason for this is they and the DA just does not get along. And I think the reason for that is the ANC, they've always been a party of optics, right? It's sort of what the communists do. So at the height of the Soviet Union, if you wanted to see the brilliance and the beauty of the Soviet Union, you'd go to Moscow. Because Moscow, being the center of the Union, would always be very well taken care of. Sort of the same when you go to North Korea. Pyongyang, or however the hell you pronounce that name, whatever the capital is of North Korea, that part is clean, well-kept, shops, and sort of it looks as modern as a country that's been completely cut off from the rest of the world can look, right? But that's the whole point of communism. It's optics. So from the ANC's perspective, their GNU dream wasn't so much because they needed it. It was to ensure that they would not optically be caught in a coalition with the DA, because that would make the ANC look very, very weak. By doing the GNU deal, they were able to basically say, hey, we're just doing a government of national unity. But you'll see even in this, Ramaphosa speaks about how all of the other parties in the GNU have been disciplined and are proud to be parties in government, and they will defend the GNU to no end. But the DA has chosen to play both roles, be it in government and also in opposition. He goes on to actually explain how the DA thinks that it's just them two that matter. So when they had the budget conversations, for example, the DA wanted the ANC and the DA to talk about the budget and come to some kind of conclusion. And the ANC was like, well, what about the other parties? And the DA was like, well, they don't matter. And the DA isn't wrong because they don't matter. The fact is that if the DA doesn't vote for something, the ANC doesn't have 50% of the vote. If the ANC doesn't vote for something, the DA doesn't have 50% of the vote. All of the other smaller parties in government does not matter. But you see, this is the problem for the ANC now. The ANC was hoping that the DA simply wanted power. And by giving the DA a little bit of power, the DA would fall in line like the other parties in the GNU have largely done. The Freedom Front Plus have also been very vocal against the ANC, but I think what's helped the Freedom Front Plus in this regard is the guy in parliament or the guy in cabinet is no longer the guy leading the party. So the Freedom Front Plus is capable of opposing the ANC because technically the Freedom Front Plus isn't in government. They have their own leadership structures that have nothing to do with what is happening in government itself, which I think is actually was a very smart move on their side. But the Freedom Front Plus also sort of sticks largely to the one sort of cabinet position that they got, and they try to run that as well as possible. So Peter Groenewald is doing a very good job of that, and Corneille Mulder is doing a good job, as far as I can tell, running the party. The DA obviously very different. So this is where we get to sort of the meat and potatoes of the problem. The ANC and the DA have no true relationship with one another. The other parties in the GNU, as confirmed by Ramaphosa here, are spineless. They got their positions of power, and they're super happy now. They won't push back against anything the ANC does. They won't oppose anything the ANC does. It's just the DA. Now, I have my own opinions on the DA. I have criticisms of the DA. But the one thing that I will say about the DA is that they have at least been the only party that is willing to stand up to the ANC. The problem, of course, that I see from Ramaphosa's side is Ramaphosa tries to lay all of the blame on the DA, but he doesn't take any of the blame for himself. You see, through all of this, Ramaphosa should have known one thing quite clearly, because it's the one reason why the GNU took so long to actually get there. And that is that the DA and the ANC agree on the problems facing the country, but they do not agree on what those solutions will be. And the ANC should have known that if they want to push more and more communist practices, the DA is going to oppose those. The DA isn't going to go along with it. And if the ANC just continuously acts like it's the only party in government, which they have been doing, the DA is going to take issue with that. The other political parties, they don't matter, and they know that. So Gayton McKenzie, for example, is more than happy to be the Minister of Sport, because technically, based on the size of his party, he shouldn't even be in cabinet, right? He's not important to the overall vote. He's not important to the sway that the GNU has. So Gayton McKenzie will keep his mouth shut, and he will take the salary that he gets from that position, and he'll just have fun with it, because he knows there's nothing else, right? If he speaks too much, if he makes too much noise, he'll be out, which sort of proves to you that there's a lack of principle there. Gayton McKenzie also spoke about this, and he sort of stood up for Ramaphosa and said, "Let me tell you, that man is incredible, right? And he doesn't take nonsense from anyone." Like, this is a quote from Gayton McKenzie. "Let me tell you something that I've learned from Cyril Ramaphosa. Underestimate him at your own peril. That's what I've learned. He's unapologetically a consensus man. He consults. Some people call him consultative Cyril. He's not shy about it." And he praises sort of what the DA, or at least what what he's learned from Cyril and how Cyril has handled himself. I think the biggest issue is that none of the other parties want to stand up. And since the DA wants to stand up, Ramaphosa isn't wrong in saying that the DA is just not a good partner in government, because the DA doesn't want to go along with the nonsense that the ANC consistently proposes. And this is one of the reasons why I genuinely believe that the GNU will not survive past, I want to argue, maybe next year. I don't even see the GNU maybe surviving past this year. Although there's so little time left in this year that maybe we may make it to December. And since everyone goes on holiday in December, not a lot will happen in that time. But I highly doubt it. There's going to be another issue. There's going to be another meltdown. And when that happens, there's going to be another fight between the DA and the ANC. And the reason for that is the DA understands that their supporters wanted them in the government of national unity, but not to simply become the ANC light, which a lot of supporters of the DA have already labeled them as such, right? So it's a harsh position to be in. I personally think that the GNU has served its purpose. I don't necessarily think the GNU has to continue at this point. I think it's fine if it comes to an end, but we'll see. I ultimately, of course, think that we need a different government. We need a cultural and a religious revival in this country. We need people that once again see morality as the highest order and seeks a government that puts morality first, that puts God at the center of it all. And even if you're not faithful, even if you don't believe in Christ, if you can at least agree to the moral teachings of Christ, if you can agree to the moral teachings of Christianity, you're my brother. And I'm happy to stand with you, to fight with you, right? Because I don't think it's only Christians that are good, despite what one commenter actually wanted to claim I said. I've never said that. I don't believe that it's only Christians that are good. I just think that Christian moral values is the only good moral values. And if you hold those, even if you're not Christian, that's perfectly fine. But one thing that is clear to me is that none of our leaders have that. I doubt that anyone in the DA, Hellenzel, John Stienes, and I don't think any of them are Christian. I don't think they care. I've never heard them actually say anything about religion. I know for a fact that most ANC members aren't Christian. Ramaphosa certainly isn't one. Gayton McKenzie isn't one. So we have a severe lack of moral leadership in this country. And as a result of that lack of moral leadership, our country is going astray. It's falling apart because our members are only out there looking after themselves, looking after their own ideologies, and not for a second caring about making the lives of ordinary South Africans actually better and serving ordinary South Africans. And that is sad. But let me know in the comment section down below if you think what I do matters and if you think more people should have access to the content that I make. Please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, smash that bell, and leave a comment because it helps. Massive shout out to all of the people that support this channel. If you want to become a supporter, hit the join button below this video or link in the description down below. Your support helps me grow this organization to ultimately include reporters and researchers and hopefully even more in the future. So all support is always very much appreciated. As always, be good to each other, be kind to each other, and may the Lord bless you this day and this week. Peace.